Hello students. So under differential calculus, we are now in the topic of continuity and discontinuity functions part 2. So let's get on to the presentation. So first let's have the concept of squeeze theorem. So you may wonder why the picture of a sandwich is here. So this theorem can be also called as sandwich theorem. I hope everyone loves to have a sandwich, right? And you know what is a sandwich comprises of? You have two layers of bread, right? And you have the stuffings in between, whatever may be, even for a burger or whatever it is. So what are the stuffings in between? And you have two layers of bread as the same thing. The same concept is applied in this particular theorem. That's why the name has come as sandwich theorem or squeeze theorem. So now you know what is the basic understanding of a sandwich is. So now let's get on to the graph. Just move on, just concentrate yourself in the graph. We have three functions here, three curves here. So what is happening to these three curves? Now these three curves are represented in different colors, right? Now let's talk about the first function g of x from the bottom. So first we have curve g of x, which is compared to the lower, that is the lower bread slice. Now go to the second one, the function f of x, which is the stuffings of your function, your sandwich. And on the top layer, you have another slice of bread, which can be called as h of x. So now what has happened? You don't take the stuffing separately and you just try to have it separately, the bread slice separately. Then there is no meaning of having a sandwich, right? So you just take your sandwich along with the stuffings what you have. The same way, the same concepts apply to the squeeze theorem over here. Now let's consider three functions, f, g and h, be functions, and L, real numbers. So what is L? The values and y. So now when limit extends to infinity, g of x, when it approaches to L, and when limit extends to infinity, h of x tends to L, what am I saying that? What am I trying to convey? G of x and h of x. In between these two functions, we have another function f of x. For all sufficiently large x, then I can conclude that the limit extends to infinity, f of x is equal to capital L, which means the function f of x is also having the same limit L as g of x and h of x is having. In other words, f of x is squeezed. F of x is squeezed between g of x and h of x. Hence the theorem, squeeze theorem or sandwich theorem. So now I could just want to mention this. The analogous statement holds for also limits minus infinity. So you should also keep that in mind. So plus infinity and minus infinity, it holds. So now let's have a problem based on the sandwich theorem. Show that the function f of x is equal to x raised to the power 4 sine of 1 upon x, where x is not equal to 0, and 0 when x is equal to 0 is continuous on minus infinity to plus infinity. So solution, the given function f of x is x power 4 sine 1 upon x is continuous on minus infinity comma 0 union 0 comma infinity. How do you find this? This can be seen from the first video of domain and range. So how do I see? So at x is equal to 0, it becomes 1 upon 0, which is infinity, sine infinity. So it's going to be undefined over there. So you just use the union. Since it is the product of trigonometric functions and a rational function, so you can say that minus 1 less than or equal to sine of 1 upon x less than 1. So when you take this, we have just applying sandwich theorem, just multiplying x power 4 on both sides, you'll be getting minus x power 4 less than or equal to x power 4 sine 1 upon x less than x power 4, because limit extends to 0 minus of x power 4. When I substitute 0 in place of x, I'll be getting 0. And when I substitute limit x tends to 0, x power 4 is also equal to 0 by the squeeze theorem. By the squeeze theorem, we say that this is g of x and this is h of x, right? When g of x tends to 0 and h of x tends to 0, what can you say? You can say the stuffing, right? Or the middle function h of x will also tend to 0, which is equal to f of 0. Therefore, f of x is continuous at 0 and hence on interval minus infinity to infinity. Hope you understood this problem. Next, show that f of x is equal to 3x square plus 2x minus 1 is continuous at x is equal to 0. So now we have a function f of x is equal to 3x square plus 2x minus 1. How do I check whether a function is continuous at a particular point? What should I do? The left hand limit and the right hand limit should coincide, right? Now what happens here? When I say from left limit, what is the function defined? From right limit, what is the function defined? We don't know because there is only one function. There is no breakup functions given in this particular problem. So if breakup functions are not given in the problem, you have to handle this problem in this particular way, right? So how do I handle it out? Limit x tends to 2 minus f of x is equal to, now we say some h. H tends to 0, 2 minus h. Okay, because it is approaching from the left side. 2 minus h. So limit h tends to 0. Wherever x comes, I replace it by h. 3 times of 2 minus h the whole square plus 2 times of 2 minus h minus 1. So now 2 minus h the whole square and 2 into 2, 4 minus h. When I simplify this, I'll be getting the answer as 15. So my left limit answer for 2 is 15. Now let's approach it from right hand side. So from right hand side, I will use it as 2 plus h. Very simple. So if you want to check a function is continuous at a particular point when there is no breakup functions, you have to approach from left hand side means that particular point minus h, and from right hand side means that particular point plus h. So substitute inside the values of x, right, and the answer is 15. Now what you could observe, the left limit and the right limit both are having the same value 15. So therefore limit x tends to 2 minus f of x is equal to limit x tends to 2 plus f of x, which is equal to 15. Therefore I could say that f of x is continuous at x is equal to 2. So now this problem is quite interesting and it's very important. So what does they actually try to mean? They say they've already told you the function is continuous. So you know what is continuous functions. So continuous functions, left limit and the right limit will coincide. This is what the basic understanding of continuous functions are. So they say that f of x is continuous for all real value of x. Find the values of a and b. Right? So we have to find the values of a and b, which is inside the breakup functions. So for how many numbers or how many points we need to find the limits. So how many points are there? First, the function breaks at 2. Then the function breaks at 3. So it's enough we find the continuity or in checking on x on 2 and 3. So how do I start? So first let me write down the statement as f of x is equal to the given function etc. is continuous for all real value of x. So now in particular f is continuous at 2 and 3. So you understand why am I choosing 2 and 3? Because the function breaks at 2 and 3 only. So we need not to take other points. So first let me check for 2. So therefore limit x tends to 2, f of x is equal to f of 2, and limit x tends to 3, f of 3 will be equal to f of 3. This is what the continuous definition says. Now at x is equal to 2, so now let's have x is equal to 2 can be broken into two category. One is 2 minus and one is 2 plus, right? So when I say 2 minus, which approaches from the left side, right? So from the left side, if I substitute 2, so what happens? So now before this, if I substitute 2, then I am into a very big problem Why? Because 2 minus 2 will result in 0 and anything divided by 0 will become undefined. But it says it's a continuous function. Then there is a controversy. So what should I do? X square minus 4 can be written as x plus 2 into x minus 2. I repeat, a square minus b square formula I am applying. So x square minus 4 can be written as x minus 2 and x plus 2. So then x minus 2 and x minus 2 will get cancelled and you will be landing up with x plus 2 on the numerator. So if it's x plus 2, then it is very easy. If I'm going to substitute 2 over there, I'll be getting 2 plus 2 is 4. Here. So my left hand limit is 4. What happens to the right limit? Right limit when the point approaches the function f of x from right side, the function value is ax square minus bx plus 3. So at that particular point, if I substitute 2 over here, I'll be getting 4a minus 2b plus 3. So that will be considered as an equation number 1. I'm repeating, if I substitute 2 in place of this particular function, I'll be getting 4a minus 2b plus 3. That is your first equation. Now let's discuss for the point 3. When the function is approaching 3 from the left side, okay, so this function, this is the value. So substitute 3 in place of x. So we'll be getting 9a minus 3b plus 3. That is equation number 2. And here, when I substitute here, right side, so what will happen? When I substitute 3, I'll be getting 6 minus a plus b. Now, since we know that the function is continuous at 2 as well as 3, what should I do? Both the values are equal. So now, f of 2 is equal to, as I told you, 4a minus 2b is equal to 1, the first equation. At x is equal to 3, we have limit x tends to 3 minus and x limits tends to 3 plus is equal to f of 3. So the value from the left side will be x square a etc. substituting and 3 minus. Substituting, you get 9a minus 3b plus 3 is equal to minus a plus b plus 6. That is your left limit and your right limit coincides. Why does it coincide? Because it is given in the problem that they are continuous functions. And they are continuous functions in the sense it will be continuous at all those breaking points. So now if it is equal, now equating, so you have another equation 10a minus 4b is equal to 3. Solving 1 and 2, you will be getting the value of a and b to be half and half. Not necessary. All the time you may not have the values of the constants as equal. It may vary. At times they can give you only one constant or they might give you three constant. But try to adapt to the concept that if a given function is continuous, we need to know that the left limit and the right limit coincides. So you can equate it and you can try to solve it and get a resulting equation. Based on the resulting equation, try to solve those resulting equation and get the values of the constants. Hope you understand.